Om Shanti.
आत्मसंस्थितिः स्वात्मदर्शनम् आत्मनिर्भयात् आत्मनिष्ठित आत्मसंस्थितिः स्वात्मदर्शनम् आत्मनिर्भयात् आत्मनिष्ठता. This is from Padesa of Maharshi. Being the self is knowing the self. As there is only one self and there are no two, this being and knowing is abiding in the self.
Only self can know self. Nothing else can know self. All forms of God also comes from the same self. All beings, all things. Direct inference of self can only be known only by self. Bhagavan stresses it in a very clear way to impart this knowledge that ego can never know self. A seeker starts with an ego which wants to know the self. Seeking is by the ego. I know some people don't like to acknowledge that they have ego. When I say that, some people say, "Oh, I don't have any ego." I also know that you don't have any ego. No one has ego. Ego is fake. Ego is an illusion. But from where you speak, it is only ego speaking. But the ego, the one which wants to know reality, when it comes closer to pure self, it starts disappearing, and there is more unfoldment of reality within. What makes ego to disappear and self to manifest? That is called as kripa, grace. How this grace is on someone and not on other. It is not like that. Grace is equal on everyone, whether they are atheist or believe in God or wants to know self or don't want to know self. But grace is acknowledged only by the one who is intensely seeking to know the truth. Simple reason is person full of desires, attachments, and doership is in the ego mode, looking for things, looking for people, looking for relationship, looking to gain something from this transient, illusory world. Illusory because everything changes, nothing is permanent. In this impermanency, we try to find happiness. How can you get happiness? In transient things, you can get only momentary happiness. It is like a shadow. You're trying to catch hold of the shadow. You don't catch hold of anything. It is like movie on a screen. There is everything in the movie. Big palaces, cars, people, food. But what can you hold out of all those? You try to grab, you come in front of the screen, try to hold nothing. All that movie starts projecting on your body, but it does not give you anything, no food, nothing. Same is this life. We are all trying to search happiness in this world, doing our bit to gain some happiness. At the end, we all will get death only. Death of the body, disease of the body, finishing of the relationships. People leave you, you leave people, they die or you die. End result is whatever you think you have gained, you will lose, including this body. Still nobody understands. That's the biggest surprise. And then sometimes I wonder that among billions of people, there are only maybe few hundred who understands. This is the power of illusion, power of Maya. It entices us with so many promises and we get lost. Lost not in this birth, from birth after birth after birth. More you get something out of this world, what you desire, more you get trapped in it. It is like a gambler. You gamble, you get something, and you gamble more. And you keep gambling till you lose your last penny. Our last penny is our last breath. And we are all approaching towards that. My only warning to everyone is spend each moment very cautiously. Don't just waste in useless gossips and trying to please egoistic minds around you and, and collecting all this garbage of this world inside your house. Know the truth within you. Time is short. We have already wasted so much of time. Now focus on something which is most important. Living in ego, death is certain. Giving up ego, death can never touch you. You are deathless. From death to deathless, this is the difference. Not knowing the truth or knowing the truth. If the way I am saying is being taught in a school and at home to each and every individual, then there only will be peace in this world. We will not be in pieces. And everyone will be busy knowing their truth. They will speak from truth. They will behave from there. The whole world would be a place which we call heaven, better than heaven, without ego, with pure love. And I'll tell you, there is no other way to bring peace to the world. Only way is to know your own self. And self is known by self. That means ego dissolves. Ego disappears as we move towards the source. And we realize there is only source. What we were thinking we are was only a reflection from the source. We believed on it and we lived our life in this fake identity. The moment you touch your heart, ego dissolves completely. No trace of ego can be found. And what is eternal shines. It is self-effulgent, untainted. It is innocent like a child. It has no clue what all stupidity this body was doing all these years. It laughs on it. It was witnessing when you were doing all those crazy things. It is only a witness. Now you are with that, completely merged, as if some other power has taken over the body. Body is temple of pure self. I prefer to call this self as God, because so many people come from religious backgrounds and they believe in God. All your faith is in some power. This is that power, nothing beyond it. Good news is we all have this power. We all have this pure self in our heart. Don't search outside. Look within. Stay with it. And it will manifest. It is always there, but you don't know about it. It stays in unmanifest stage when we have no interest in it. For a jnani, he can see same pure self even in a devil. While the devil has no clue, he can even refute. He can say that there is no self in me. Pick up any technique which you love, by which you can remember self all the time. It is enough to remember in waking state, when you wake up till you go to bed. If you can practice in waking state, it will percolate in your deep sleep and in your dream state. When I say in your dream state or deep sleep, these are states of mind in which you are living, but you are beyond it. You never change. You are changeless, pure awareness, always the same. Be with that. Nothing is happening in self, though it is the source of all happenings. Only self can describe self, yet it stays indescribable. All words are short, all words are deficient. Things what we consider holy and pure, it is manifesting more in those things. That's why those things are sacred to us. But for a self realized person, or I should say, self realized being, it is manifesting in everything in full. Be with that all the time. Mind can never know the self. Mind is nothing but thoughts. Rather, mind itself is an obstacle. We call mind this power which helps to fulfill our desires. And each desire starts with a thought. When you are desireless, or you are only desiring to abide in self, you have taken away all work from the mind, and mind becomes no mind. And as soon as it becomes no mind, you know the self. You have darshan of self. All this covering which appears to be covering this self is only of thoughts, nothing else. Whenever your mind is pulling you into activities, it always comes with I. I will do this, I will do that. Always question this I. Who is this I within me who wants to do this and that? Supreme Lord doesn't say anything. He just sits and watches. If you ask me what is the primary sin, this doership is the primary sin. The one in us keeps saying, I do, I do, I do. Sin because everything is done by the self. But then you take up the credit of everything. Don't take any credit for anything. If you want your ego to finish completely and quickly, Never take credit for anything. And take all blame for all the wrongdoings if people blame you. This will make you humble. All goodness coming from self, and all wrongdoings coming from ego. This will make you very humble and pure. Once you are pure and humble, fire in your heart will manifest. Once it manifests, even for a second, bow down to it and be with it and never leave it. To all the seekers who went on this trip, my only humble request is, whatever little or more experience you have of this self, be with that. Nurture it with your interest. Live with it day and night. Allow it to grow. You are pure silence. Make sure when you speak from this silence only. Never, ever separate from this silence. Always from this silence. Whatever you say, even your arguments, even your fight, even your displeasure, should come from the pure silence. When all your life is from the silence, whatever the body does or the mouth speaks, it is blessed by self. More important than your words and actions is the source. If it comes from the source, it becomes pure. It doesn't matter what you speak or what you do. So many people full of ego do lot of good works, but there is a smell of ego in each work because all those works are done for approval by others, recognition by others, and sometimes there are other vested interests. While a jnani who doesn't do any work rather might be throwing stones on others, but those stones becomes blessing. Work is not important. Source is important. Be at source all the time. Take this life as your last chance. Don't postpone it. I'm telling you because I meet seekers all the time. Everyone is unique. I met someone recently who said, I'm doing this sadhana and it will continue in next life also. He already made his plans to go into next life and continue his sadhana next life. This is the trick of the mind, to postpone things. Because right now, that person wants to establish something related with religion or spirituality. Don't fall into any trap. First thing first, to know the self. Rest everything can wait. After knowing self, if something you want to do, let it happen. But first thing first, know the self first. Time is short. Don't waste your time. And don't think you will do your sadhana only in front of the altar or in your meditation room or when you reach home in a room. Whatever the body is doing or not doing, you stay here all the time. Unbroken practice will take you there. No other way. If your sadhana is 1 hour and rest of the time you are busy in your egoistic mind, how will you reach there? You are not progressing, you are receding if that is the case. Because in this world no one is interested, and the people who are interested spend maybe an hour a day and they think it's too much because no one else is doing. But this is just wastage of your 1 hour also. Better you indulge, and when you have enough of it, then come back with full throttle and stay here. And then don't move. All duality is only in mind. All confusion is only in mind. Self is sattvic, pure, untainted, and only one. All is one. We all are busy in building religious places, temples, churches, mosques, and then establish some identity of God within it. Spending so much of time in doing these things. While that power has already built this temple, this body, and has already put an idol, that formless, in our heart. And our task is only to know that He has done everything for us. We only have to go to our heart, worship Him there, bow down our ugly ego, and dissolve in it, and be free from all afflictions, free from illusion, and gain that eternal life which we all deserve. To know that you are unborn, to know that you are not this body, you are that pure self in your heart. When you go to work, this body moves and the self is always there. While an altar at home or the religious place you go cannot go with you wherever you go. But this temple of God stays with you all the time, with the God within. How beautiful it is. How sacred you are. Take one step within. This is the best pilgrimage. All pilgrimage we do is to only indicate that self is the purest of all and be with that. Intense longing and self-attention will lead to self-realization. Constant attention after self-realization leads to self-abidance. And then it becomes natural without any practice. Natural state. Sahaj Samadhi all the time. Then Maya cannot deceive you. Anything can happen in this life to the body, and anything can change around us. Doesn't matter. You are pure self. Come to the same state when your ego was not that solid, when you were a child, when you had no worries, you had faith in everything, you were not paranoid, you had full trust in everything. Come back to the source. Don't choose anything for your own self. Let that divine, that energy chooses everything. Give up your choices. Give up your interests. Pray that only one interest is left. To abide in pure self. When you become choiceless, thousands of activities drop. And then, whatever activities left, they are not binding to you. Because you have no choice, no personal choice, no intention, no desire. No use of mind. Spontaneously you get established in self. Old habits die hard. Your doership might come, but you can watch it. Because in this newfound place, you have the best seat in theater. From here you can find whatever is rising in you or going away in you. And you are uninvolved in everything. You have no interest in anything. So whatever interests are arising can be watched. They are like bubbles coming and going of thoughts. Don't engage, just observe. With your detachment and with your witnessing, sooner or later, all these thoughts will disappear. Leaving you in your supreme bliss and pure knowledge, after which any knowledge your mind wanted to gain is of no use. People say this is the time of AI, artificial intelligence. I want you to know that this mind is also an artificial intelligence. Only self is that pure intelligence, true intelligence. Mind is artificial. Mind is conditioned. Mind belongs to matter. Mind only knows worldly things. Beyond mind, there is no world. You are pure intelligence, pure self. Don't move. Pure stillness. Pure silence. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arunachal Ramanaya Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.